Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All he wanna say.
Hello, bonjour, and bonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. I am Dr. Riel Nkunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to gain from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on change makers mindset. So in British Columbia, we have Sabrina Trobeck. And in Australia, we have Dr. Ritu Verma. In Washington State, we have Chris Mammon. So at this moment, I'm just going to let our speakers to introduce themselves. You can go ahead, Sabrina.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Trobeck. Like you said, I'm from British Columbia in northern BC, Canada. I'm a registered clinical counselor, public speaker, and also author of the book Not Good Enough, Understanding Your Core Belief and Anxiety. I look at counseling and mental health from the perspective of our core belief. And so we're looking at how is that core belief not good enough developed over the years? And then what do we do to challenge and change that core belief so we feel more like we are good enough, important, and valued?
Oh, wow. What an honor. It's such an honor to have you, Sabrina. And really, I'm looking forward to hear more of your message. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. You can go ahead, Dr. Verma, and please introduce yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Ritu. I'm in Wollongong, Australia. Now, put it very simply, I'm a wife, mother of two gorgeous boys, now fine young men, I must say, and I have loving, caring parents. My whole life has been dedicated to education, more in academia. However, the last 7 years, I had absolutely a great shift, which you'll hear about more. And now I've moved into transformational life coaching and being a spiritual teacher, guiding people to heal, move towards better health, and really connect with something higher than just themselves. So thank you for having me here.
Wow, what an honor and a privilege to have you. And really, it's like I'm already listening to your message. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Verma, and I'm looking forward to hear more of your message. Thank you. You can go ahead, Chris, and please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris, and I'm out of Gig Harbor, Washington, a little bit south of Seattle. And I'm what's considered an acceptance coach. And I get asked all the time what that means. An acceptance coach, I help people heal from grief, loss, and trauma to discover their self-acceptance and step into their personal power. And a little more direct on that one, I really help walk people through an empowered grief journey by taking them from a place of pain and hurt to bring them into a space of hope and healing. And so recently I started the Empowered Grief Journey podcast, and it's taken off like a rocket in the last 30 days. And I have the pleasure of just inspiring people how to turn grief into personal power so that they can live a new version, better version of their life.
Oh, wow. Wow. What an honor, Chris, to have you. And we need more like you who will just help us, heal over that grief. We need individuals like you. And thank you for doing what you are doing. And thank you for being with us. And I'm looking forward to hear more of your message. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's an honor. So, Sabrina, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there in the busy highway in British Columbia. What will your billboard say?
It would say something along the lines of awareness. I think one of the very first steps we need to do in healing is become more aware of what's really going on, understand what's driving us, because a lot of times we end up in these cycles where we just continue over and over and over again. We don't really understand why we're doing what we're doing. Not going to have a lot of growth, not going to have a lot of change if I don't have that initial step of awareness.
Wow, that awareness is an eye opener. You will definitely understand what's happening around you, around your surroundings. Once you know, knowledge is power. You should be aware, self-awareness, be aware of your surrounding. Wow, what a billboard. Thank you, Sabrina. How about you, Dr. Verma? Maybe your billboard is already down there in the busy highway in Australia. I don't know. What will your billboard say?
Simple and short. Heart is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual realms. Full stop.
Wow. You say half is the bridge between?
Heart is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual realm.
Wow. What a billboard. What a billboard. Yes, because between the spiritual and the physical realm, there is a pathway in there. And definitely it's the one. Wow, what a profound billboard. So honestly, from self-awareness to yours, I feel like I don't know what Chris has in mind. Chris, what will your billboard say if you happen to have your billboard? Maybe it's already down there in Washington. I don't know. What will it say?
My billboard would say that grief is a personal gateway to transformation.
Grief is the personal gateway to transformation. Yes, you have to live through it, grieve through it, and then you're going to be able to be transformed. What a profound billboard. Really, I believe my billboard will be the fourth billboard driving down the highway, and it's going to say what? The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. And it's definitely coming. So we're going to get started. We are flying all the way to BC, where we have Sabrina Trobeck. Sabrina Trobeck lives in Fort St. John, BC, Canada, and is a registered counselor and also the author of Not Good Enough, Understanding Your Core Belief and Anxiety. She is also a clinical supervisor and a public speaker and has her master's in counseling psychology. Prior to becoming a counselor, Sabrina was a teacher, vice principal, and a school counselor for over 20 years. Sabrina has extensive training in resolving past trauma, and the impact of trauma has on a person, including anxiety and the core beliefs: not good enough, not important, not valued. Her focus in her counseling practice is to help people challenge and change their core beliefs of not good enough, not important, not valued, too good enough, important, and valued. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Sabrina Trobeck.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Take it away.
So we look at mental health from the perspective of that core belief. We find that generally people who struggle with anxiety, depression, just feel really not content or happy within their life. There's often that little kind of voice in the back of their head that says they're not good enough, not important, not valued. What this model of therapy believes is that we're constantly trying to prove to ourselves that what we believe about ourselves is true. So that core belief has a really, really significant impact. So if my core belief is not good enough, I'm going to be drawn to people, places, experiences, even my own perceptions are going to be twisted to reinforce and support that core belief. So really to make long-term change, we have to look past the symptoms and really start to figure out and understand what is that core belief, how is it developed, and what do I need to do to challenge and change that core belief. We often find that people who grew up where they had a lot of trauma and chaos in their life, they felt unsettled, unstable, not safe in their own home, neglected. Often that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, is slowly growing. The other thing that plays a really significant impact in that core belief is not feeling our emotions. We live in our society. I don't think it matters where you are around the world. We're often taught, don't feel your emotions, just push them down, avoid them at all cost. The more we avoid our emotions, the bigger they become within us. They don't just go away. So then it gets harder and harder and harder to cope with daily living. So then my core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, becomes more and more significant as well. So the combination of all of these experiences that we've had, the emotions these experiences have, creates more and more anxiety, or more and more of that core belief, not good enough. One of the things we see really significant in our society is anxiety. Anxiety is connected to that core belief. If my core belief is not good enough, then I'm going to have more self-doubt and more insecurity. A lot of people think anxiety is about the trigger, right? You know, I have anxiety of crowds. Well, if that was true, then every single person would have anxiety being around crowds, and not everyone does. Some people thrive off of it. So anxiety is not about our trigger. Anxiety is about my belief in my ability to handle the trigger. If I believe I can handle crowds, I'm not going to have anxiety. If I believe I can't handle crowds, I'm going to have more anxiety. So one of the things we need to do is work on building that core belief good enough, important, and valued. As that core belief shifts, now I believe more that I can handle a variety of different things. So my anxiety is going to go down. So one of the things that we talk about that is a really, really good strategy to help with that is making a plan. If anxiety is lack of confidence, I now have a plan on how I'm going to handle something. I am going to feel more confident. So making a plan, even with those worry thoughts, the ones that maybe aren't even really going to come true, taking those worry thoughts, writing them down, making a plan for how you are going to handle them can be really, really effective in bringing that anxiety down. So let's say I'm going out with some friends and I'm going to be meeting some new people, and meeting new people creates anxiety for me. So I'm going to own that. That's what's going on. I have anxiety about meeting new people. I don't have to pretend it's not there. I don't have to tell myself I'm going to be fine. I am going to make a plan to handle it. So I decide that I'm going to meet my friend that I do know well in the parking lot because I want to drive myself so I can leave whenever I want. We're going to walk in together. We're going to arrive about 10 minutes early so that I can get a sense of the place and where I want to sit and kind of get settled before everyone arrives. I'm also going to tell myself that if I start feeling uncomfortable, if I feel like I'm not really fitting in with a group of people, that's okay. I'm just going to excuse myself and I'm going to leave a bit earlier. So now that I have a plan on how to handle all these things, I feel much better and much more confident in my ability to handle the dinner. So my anxiety goes down. I see it happen with clients all the time. They'll come in, they'll have anxiety about something. We'll say, okay, well, let's make a plan. And after we make the plan, their anxiety goes down. Anxiety is not about the event. Anxiety is about the anticipation of the event, right? We often have things where it creates anxiety, but then when it actually happens, we go, well, that wasn't so bad. Like, what was the big deal? It's not actually about our skills in being able to handle the event. It's our belief. So anticipation is almost always where we see higher anxiety, in anticipation of the event happening. Another really good strategy that we can use is breathing. When we go into anxiety, we go into that fight, flight, freeze response. That sends a chemical called cortisol into our brain. Cortisol stops us from thinking. We're not going to be able to use logic and reason, understand consequences, sequence events, memory. They are all impacted. So breathing actually stops that cortisol from being dumped into our brain. So taking deep breaths can be very, very effective. Now, I should take deep breaths when my anxiety is high, but what's even better is just start taking deep breaths regularly throughout your day. Every time you look at your phone, every time you have a drink of water, take a deep breath or two. What that does is allows that cortisol level to go back down, so the anxiety is becoming less and less. For a lot of people, anxiety feels like this kind of cloud that overcomes them and they have no control over it. And that is not true. We create our own anxiety with our thoughts. If our thoughts are full of self-doubt and insecurity, that core belief, not good enough, not important, not valued, we are going to struggle a lot more with anxiety. So taking those deep breaths can be a really, really effective tool in bringing that anxiety down and calming things for us, for sure. Sorry, were you going to say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I do have a website. My website is throwbackholistic.org. On my website, I have information about all kinds of different mental health pieces. I have a blog section that has 2 to 4 minute reads. I have a page that has all the podcast interviews that I've done. It also has links to all my social media. I'm on YouTube and Facebook at Throwback Holistic Counseling. I am on Instagram at NGE, so that's not good enough, _throwback. And I'm on TikTok at NGE _core _belief. I also have a book, Not Good Enough, Understanding Your Core Belief and Anxiety. And that book is available on Amazon. It is a handbook. So you're basically reading a little bit of information and then applying that information to your own personal experiences through a variety of different activities throughout the book.
Wow, Sabrina, thank you so much for sharing such a profound, much needed message around understanding our core beliefs. I like the way you've explained that, anxiety is not about the event that is happening. Anxiety is about the anticipation of the event, all those doubts in your mind, all those expectations about what's going to happen. That's anxiety. So thank you so much for opening our eyes around understanding our core belief. You've mentioned on your book, I believe all this that you're sharing with us is down there. So individuals should go out there and get that book, Not Good Enough. You feel like you're not important, you're not valued. That book is life-changing. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for sharing such a profound, much needed message with our audience. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So now from BC to Australia, where we have Dr. Ritu Verma. Dr. Ritu Verma is a senior lecturer at the University of Wollongong. Did I say it right?
Absolutely, you did.
Okay, perfect. And she's also a transformational life coach. Since her own near-death experience and the resultant transformation, she has gone into helping others heal back to health and find inner joy and peace. So in her own experience, Dr. Verma has witnessed the transformative power of heart-centered practices, not only in her life, but also in the lives of those she has guided. Her mission is to continue spreading awareness about the importance of heart-centered awakening and to empower others to embark on their own journeys towards healing, health, and happiness. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Ritu Verma.
Thank you so much. I've actually, before I get started, have actually just left the university because my whole life I've been in academia. Now there's a bigger calling of taking my message out there and helping people transform their lives. So I'm going to explain a bit about my journey. All my life, I have had ill health. And all my life, I was always wondering, is there more to life? There's always something missing, I always found. And a lot of turmoil was happening when I was close to 50. So when I turned 50 and I was on my holiday, dream holiday, by the way, I was in Canada in my dream holiday. It's really weird. I actually ended up in hospital. So just over 7 years ago, I had a brain injury, but at the same time, I experienced something so profound and so beautiful, right? Then they call it near-death experience, where I was infused with the light. I heard the words, "You are loved. You are finally home." So since ever that, I've had a real transformation. At the age of 50, I had to learn how to walk and talk and brush my teeth again. My boys were actually feeding me. It was a role reversal. And though I had to regrow like I was a baby, I had to unlearn everything else, had to change my perspective on life, had to do mind shifts, had to connect to my heart. So I knew I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So the transformation that I have experienced over the 7 years is what I bring to you. It's all about healing, moving towards better health, and experiencing that inner peace and joy. There is so many mind shifts I can talk about. I can talk about tools and strategies, but the key was awakening that giant within that heart center. It was transformative when you realize, when you awaken that heart center. And as I said, that is the bridge between your physical realm and your spiritual realm. So I am now going out there and talking about my journey of inner transformation. And it's about self-discovery. It's about self-realization. It's about personal development. It's really about breaking those limitations, releasing the stress out of your mind, out of your body. It's about rebalancing your energy within. And it's about restoring connections. And when I'm talking about connections, I'm talking about connection within yourself, connection with each other, connection with our beautiful environment, our nature, a gift from the Almighty. And I'm also talking about the connection to something higher than ourselves. So it's a total life transformation. We touch every aspect of your being, because I've realized if you want better health, you've got to talk about physical health. You've got to talk about mental health. You talked about emotional health, as our previous speaker was talking about. So important to get in touch with your emotions rather than keep it down in yours. So there's so many tools and strategies that I can give you in terms of all those. But I'd like to go further. Look at your energy body, okay? Because behind our physical body, you see this physical body, we have hair, we have skin. There is an energy body which directly affects your physical body. So we do a bit of cleansing there, and basically I talk about chakras. Chakras is talking about the energy body in our ancient traditions. And then we also need, when we're talking about holistic health, we also need to talk about spiritual health, because that's transformative. I can tell you that, and that's been my own journey. So if you are looking to improve your health, we need to look at a holistic, and we need to look at a whole being, because that's what we are. We are not human doings. We are human beings. So we need to look at every aspect when we are talking about holistic health. And when we are connecting with our heart, as I said, that was a transformation for me, is actually connecting with the heart, because heart is where our soul sits. And when you connect with that soul, this is where you find that inner peace and joy. And like I have experienced that, I want everyone to experience that inner peace, that self-love, that joy. So I urge everyone to really find out their purpose, find out, reveal the inner gifts that are within themselves. And I can help you all of that, because I've gone through all of this. And the message is clear. Again, going back to a previous speaker, that you are worthy, you are loved. I mean, I heard those words, and I bring that back down to you so you can all experience that inner joy and peace. So that is my message, that you are loved, you are precious, and please, please, please take care of yourself. I am going to share my screen with you so you know where to get in touch with me. Well, let's try and see whether this works for you. Here we go. Let's see whether this works here. All right. So you can contact me through my Facebook, my email, or my website, which is called Healing, Health and Happiness, all interconnected. Okay, so I'm here to help you heal, to move towards better health and experience that inner joy. There's a QR code, so if you want to take a little photo of that, please do so. But with social media, I think that's the best way to go. 3 freebies I'm going to throw with you. I can happy to give you a heart center meditation, an ebook on self-care, and a one-on-one coaching session with me. So please get in touch with me and see how we can work together to transform your life. Beautiful journey. Let's go on this empowering journey together. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Wow. What a profound, much needed message. And for that reminder that, you know what? You are loved. We care for you. And for you, Dr. Verma, to be able to share heart-centered awakening as a way, as a connection to healing, health, and happiness, that was really profound. That was really profound, because living from a heart-centered consciousness can lead to greater happiness, like you've mentioned. Thank you so much for sharing such a profound, much needed message, and for that inspiration that, yes, when you shift your focus from mind-centered to heart-centered living, you will align more closely with your true self and your values. Thank you so much, Dr. Verma, for such a profound, much needed message. Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next speaker from Australia to Washington, where we have Chris Mamon. Chris Mamon is an acceptance coach that helps people heal from grief, loss, and trauma to discover their self-acceptance and step into their personal power. So, kings and queens, please join me and welcome Chris Mamon.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm gonna have a little unique twist on things to share what I do and my life story. That's gonna be very quickly summarized. Back in 2020, I had the unpleasant experience of watching my grandfather pass away in my arms from cancer. It was my first experience losing somebody, and I can share that when you go through that process, if you ever do, it's a very traumatic experience. But something that I learned through that is I had to learn how to celebrate that loss of somebody in my grief journey. And so that was my real first step to becoming an acceptance coach. 2 years later, I went through probably the roughest moment of my life. I call it the pivot shift, and it's for sake of the show we're on today, I'll just say that I learned that these moments were what I call the gift and crappy wrapping paper. It's the one I didn't want. It's the one we don't expect, but we got handed it to us. So we have to learn how to use that in our life. And so that year, my wife and I got pregnant with our first son after struggling with infertility for 12 years. We went through a big period of emotional and verbal abuse from her family while we were pregnant. I lost my job in the middle of that. And then I also, at the same point, we lost our child one day before he was supposed to be born. His heart stopped. And so, what I'll share is that I had so many turbulent things happen within a short period of time that was very, very hard to deal with. And it did take me a long time to get to the place where I am today. But what I want to share about this and why I'm telling you my story is that grief is really a personal gateway to transformation. It's not this big, sad, dark, heavy thing that we all talk about and see in society. I also learned when I went through my grief process that people would say a lot of very inappropriate things that everybody hears, by the way, that time will make it easier. Oh, you'll learn to get over it. Oh, grief is just this thing we deal with in life. I've also gotten told when I lost my son, people would say, well, you made a beautiful baby, you'll have another one. Very hurtful things. And what I've learned about grief is that it takes us on this journey of where you guys are today into a whole different person. And so I like to equate it to if you haven't gone through grief or loss yet, I'll just say you're in version one of yourself. When you go through something like that, you become a whole new person with a whole new perspective of the world. Something that I learned on my journey, and it's why I call myself an acceptance coach, is that we have to learn how to accept these situations. And acceptance doesn't mean we like it and does not mean we get over it, but we learn how to move forward with it. And that's where we learn to celebrate those that we lost. We celebrate that moment. And we look for the gifts, the lessons, and the blessings of that moment because even in the thick of that, when you have a lot of very heavy emotions, and Sabrina hit on it a lot, anxiety was a big thing that happened to me, and it happens to all of us as we go through a grief process. And understanding where that anxiety comes from is one of the big steps in grief. When you learn to actually get to that core, like she was talking about, that's where you can start moving forward in your grief. The other thing too that Dolly touched on, and it's just a culmination of what I teach in my practice, is that we are all loved, regardless of the situation you're going through, whatever happened to you. We're all loved at a core. There's always somebody out there that's going to love us and understand us. And so I created a podcast 30 days ago. I'm already 15 episodes deep in that right now. I haven't even posted half of them. Because what I found out is that people don't have a space to understand grief, what it actually means, how to process it, how to understand it. And society has very broken ways of teaching us how to deal with grief. And that's why people end up in addictions. They end up in bad places in life through those grief processes because they don't give themselves the time to actually sit with it and understand it. And I'll share with you guys, because I coach a lot of people across the world, from Australia to the UK to Canada. I've been all over the world, and I'll say that the people I've talked to, I've learned so much from. People have been through a lot of experiences. I've talked to people that have been suicidal. I've talked to people that have lost a grandparent, lost a child like me. I've seen the array of it. And what I've come to find that's a core thing in all of us that sit with our grief and give ourselves permission to sit with that and learn it and understand it and really see who we can transform to be. They've become some of the most beautiful people in the world, contributing at a level higher than who they actually are. And so for me, the Empower Grief Journey podcast that I have, and I hope you guys will join me on that someday and listen to the episodes, I created this collaborative collection of stories from people across the world dealing with grief and how they moved through that, and how they created something beautiful from that loss. And what I can share about that is I struggled to figure out how to celebrate my own son. I couldn't figure it out for a long time. And I decided at a certain point, I said, I'm going to go be a coach and help other people through grief. Because if I can be the one person that will give you safe space to process that, to listen to it, to figure out what your gifts and blessings are in that moment, that's my purpose and my role here. And to watch you go out there and use that grief for good and do something bigger than yourself is just the most beautiful thing in life. It really is. And so I've had the pleasure of creating this podcast in honor of my son, and I get to celebrate him every day when I talk to people through their grief. And so my son's legacy carries me forward. He pushes me forward. And I've had a lot of people say, well, Chris, you lost a stillborn. How can you be that gratitude place of losing a baby like that? How's it even possible for you to be happy every day? And I always say that again, I had to look for the gifts and blessings with my son. I had to, because if I don't, it's a very dark place. And that's where a lot of us get caught in our grief journeys. And so, as an acceptance coach, I take people on that journey. I take people who are in that very, very dark place where no one wants to help them, no one wants to understand them. People are telling them just to get over it. And it's just not a good place for them. And I know why they're hurting, because as grievers, we want to feel seen, we want to feel heard, we want to feel understood. When people give us that space and they don't try to fix us, we have an empowerment that comes through that process. And that's where I say you step into your personal power. Self-acceptance is accepting yourself for all the good and all the bad that you are, all of it. And when you can come to that place and just say, this is me, this is Chris, this is Sabrina, this is Rael, this is Dolly, this is us, we're people. And when we get to that core level of acceptance, that's where power is found. And that power becomes, by the way, much bigger than ourselves. So, I call it the Empower Grief Journey podcast because I've listened to so many people share horrible losses of suicide, losing a child, losing a job, having a bad marriage that fell apart. I've heard the gamut of everything, and I'll say that I've watched so many people get empowered by those things and don't hold themselves back because of it. So I want to encourage people today, if there's something I could help you move forward with, is that find that acceptance within yourself. Find it within you. Don't listen to everybody else. Listen to yourself. Get into that core of who you are. And then also know that this thing that you saw that happened to you, it happened for you. It's going to make you a better person. And this does not mean you get over it on day one, by the way. That's not what I'm talking about. But it means that one day it's going to show itself to you. And I've seen it in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years with people. And that's where take your own time. Grief is a personal journey, and it's all about you. It's not about anybody else. And when you take that time to explore yourself and really find those gifts, lessons, and blessings in the moment, you will find something bigger than yourself. And so I want to invite you guys, if you want to connect with me, I do offer free 1 hour discovery calls so you can learn how my coaching helps and I can get a better feel for where you're at and learn how to help you on your grief journey. The big question I get asked all the time is, do you have a certain approach? I don't, because we're all different. And I've read so many self-help books. I've gone to Tony Robbins seminars. I've gone to webinars. I've done the gamut of self-help. I'm a self-help junkie. And so I'll share that depending on your personality, how you approach things, how your mindset is, I've got something in there that can help you out. And it's all about creating that customization for you so that you actually can get the most out of that experience. And I'll wrap up with this, by the way. I would love for you guys to join me on the Empowered Grief Journey podcast. You guys can find me at empoweredgriefjourney.com. It'll take you right to my podcast. I have building a collaborative session right now. I've got 4 episodes out, but I've got another 10 that I got to release soon. And these are people that have had beautiful stories, beautiful. I mean, they've been through some hardships beyond comprehension. But what they've created out of that, who they've become, is so inspiring and so powerful. So if you're in a place where you need that help and coaching's not an ideal thing for you at this point, or it's something you're not into, I completely respect that. But I want to give you that option to be part of my community and my podcast and join that group of people that turn their grief into personal power.
Wow, Chris. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your actual life experience on what you've lost and what motivation you got from that. You've mentioned that grief is a transformational journey of personal growth and healing that leads to self-discovery and acceptance. So we'll have to learn to focus on the gifts, the lessons and blessings of those moments we grieve. Like you've mentioned that people were kind of surprised, why are you celebrating your son? Like it was just a newborn. And or you already mentioned that the legacy of your son, it keeps going because you are here to celebrate him. Thank you so much for being an inspiration and for helping us to move forward throughout the new normal that we have, through your inspiration, the way you help others to really discover what's more on them than what they've lost. And yes, we can live through it, and there is still light beyond the tunnel. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your experience, your message. And I believe we're gonna have a round two on your platform. We're gonna go and have a round two on your platform. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And oh my goodness, let me just check our audience. Our audience online, they've been inspired, they've been motivated. I can see Sfiso Slongoyane, he's saying how I wish people in our country can learn from all the teachings, as most of them loses job in the USAID fund dilemma. And Hope is saying that gorgeous, that's amazing. I can see Masego Sihle, she's watching and giving us all the love. And Sfiso is connecting from the kingdom of Eswatini. I can see Benoit giving us all the love. Annalise giving us all the love. Princess Sebe is saying that awareness. Yes, awareness is key. Once you know, you can do better. And Mariah is saying that, Mariah Cox, she's saying that not good enough. Yes, we all have those moments where we feel like, you know what, I am not good enough. Like Sabrina have mentioned, I am not valued, I'm not important. Yes, so we need those books that will help us, you know what, to focus on who we are and whom we are and where are we going really. Aslan is saying that this is great. So I believe that our audience really, from all of the amazing messages that you've shared here, they've been inspired. So to our audience online, please feel free, if you happen to have any questions for Sabrina, for Dr. Verma, for Chris, please drop your questions in the chat box. We're going to attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So it's not going to be a show without me showing up and showing off, but I'm going to be the next and final speaker. But before I speak, what I'm going to do, let me share my bio with you, and then I will come back and speak. So please do enjoy. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach, it's so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainability. I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumelelo Rial Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown international speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Rial N. Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Rial N. Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Rial N. Kunene.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing speakers. Really like following after you. I'm like, you've just set the bar high or for me. Like Sabrina mentioned, that understanding your core belief that maybe you're not good enough, you're not important, you're not valued. And you'll have to understand that and how it impacts anxiety and confidence in you. And then Dr. Vema on the other side, she shared everything on heart-centered awakening and its connection to healing as well as health and happiness. She mentioned that emotional healing, holistic healing, and happiness. From happiness perspective, she mentioned that when you live from a heart-centered consciousness, it can lead to greater happiness. And when we shift our focus from mind-centered to heart-centered living, we align more closely with our true selves as well as our values, because this alignment, it fosters a sense of inner peace and contentment. And then Chris on the other side, he shared everything on how grief is actually a transformational journey of personal growth and the healing that comes from it that leads to self-discovery and acceptance. When you focus on that, focus on the gifts, lessons, and blessings of those moments that we grieve. And I'm going to be encouraging you to shift your mindset to a change maker's mindset. If you can just shift that mindset to a change maker's mindset, because a change maker is really someone who works to create positive change in the world by taking action. They are often motivated by a desire to solve social as well as environmental problems. Change makers imagine new ways of being and relationships. They work with others to bring their ideas to life. So as a change maker, you should be willing to reinvent the rules and do things differently. Change makers, they understand that sharing resources, it benefits everyone around them. Kings and queens, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. So Get started today by having that change makers mindset. So if you're an entrepreneur, maybe who dream of reshaping the world through your business and envision like several extra commas in your bank account, yet you find yourself like blocked on your journey to success. Trust me, I am the answer. Oh, hi, by the way, I'm Dr. Riel Nkunene. I am not for the timid, but I am the rocket fuel that your business needs to blast past barriers and rise to greater heights. So as your business strategist and optimizer, what I do, I empower motivated professionals to discover their full potential and shift them into growth overdrive. From owning 2 diverse companies to having experience as a CEO and guiding Fortune 500 companies to helping multi-million-dollar enterprises, really, I believe that I have a distinctive talent for empowering high-achieving coaches, elite startups, and business leaders to become dominant forces in their industries. Because I believe that the sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So we are all called to rise to greater heights. Be the one in charge of your driver's seat, kings and queens. Be the one, because you are the one driving here. You are the one who has control of your destiny. So be the one to be in charge of your driver's seat by instilling that change maker's mindset in your life. So a change maker's mindset is a way of thinking that involves embracing change, building community, as well as taking action. It's a shift from a traditional manager mindset to the one that's more open to uncertainty and exploration. So as a change maker, you should have a purpose in life. Understand what motivates you and your core principles. Empathy is also one of the characteristics that you must possess as a change maker. Try to build empathy for others, even those who really oppose you in life. Be persistent as a change maker. Develop the confidence to take action and keep going through setbacks. Community is at the heart of any change maker out there. So try by all means to build a strong network of peers and working together. Curiosity is what keeps a change maker going, because by being open to new ideas and be willing to pivot in life, you're gonna have that influence of a change maker. And change makers, they also have a shared vision for the future of the society. So a change maker's mindset can help you to drive meaningful change and transformation. It can also help you to adapt to disruption as well as build resilience. Be able to bounce back in life because you've got that change maker's mindset. So it's a wake-up call, kings and queens. It's a wake-up call to instill the change maker's mindset within your life. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, 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 don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and become an emotional empowered change maker? Yes, become an emotional empowered change maker, because emotional empowerment in this ideal world where we always feel wonderful, our emotions can be empowering parts of who we are in our lives of a recovery. So being emotionally empowered, it means that we have to manage all these 3 areas in our lives. You know what? The way we think, our emotions, and the way we behave to situations will have to be in charge of these 3 areas in our lives. Since I work with mindset transformation as well as resilience, I often pick up cues from my environment, pick up cues that actually trigger emotions, such as reading a person's body language or maybe facial expression, and catching glimpses of people's lives and their challenges. As my everyday book, it says that a fool gives vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. So the way we respond to our feelings is a conditioned response. So the first step in becoming an emotionally authentic person is to own your emotions. In life, we encounter all sorts of situations and people who will give their emotional power away to others by blaming responsibility through statements and beliefs like, you made me feel, you made me feel this way, you made me do this. Pain, pain is inevitable, but emotions are something that we create. And they are also something that we can choose. Why? I'm glad you've asked that because misery is a choice. It can feel like we are all consumed and controlled by our own emotions, but it's a choice, really. One thing that you'll have to understand is that you can't give from an empty cup. You really can't give from an empty cup. You need to fill up your cup first and then give out from the overflow. Fill up your cup first, and then once your cup is full, you're gonna be able to help heal the world with your own very humanity. But fill up your cup first by gaining knowledge. The moment you are aware of your surrounding, you're gonna do better, because this world is becoming a brewing pot of hate and anger today. But emotions are choices that you can put on the brakes. Yes, you can put on the brakes when something that someone else has said or maybe done, it upsets you. It's all too natural to immediately pass the blame for your hurt and your anger to the offending person. Instead, you'll have to recognize that we've programmed ourselves to react in a certain way to certain situations, right? Based on our preconceived beliefs and priorities. So try by all means to stop passing blame and accept responsibility for your own emotions, because really you do have a choice to do that. And the good news is that we can train our brains to look for positives. For us to acquire emotional empowerment, you need to accept where you are right now in your life. Even if you're going maybe through a rough time, through a difficult time, try and accept that situation, because you can't heal until you first acknowledge what you are feeling today or where you are. Your emotional habits, it determine the quality of your life. So you'll have to try by all means to take control of your emotions by improving your emotional resilience. When you express your feelings, it means that you are also practicing self-love, because as flight attendants always say that put on your oxygen mask first before you go out there and assist the person who's sitting next to you. Because if you don't, trust me, when the flight goes down, you will definitely go down because you forgot to put on the oxygen mask first to yourself before you assist your children, your neighbor who's sitting next to you. Because the reality is your journey to be a better person, it doesn't start with your neighbor. It doesn't start with your children. It doesn't start with your spouse. But your journey to become a better person, it starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach your full potential. So don't ever, ever give up on your heart's desires. Just recall this, just in case you can't find your way, that you can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. I am a firm believer of affirmations. So we're going to affirm this together. We're going to affirm this together as if we're taking an oath by placing our left hand on our chest. If you can just do it with me, if you are watching and listening under my voice, you're going to place your left hand on your chest and you're going to raise your right hand. And we're going to affirm this together. You're going to say that I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Can you say it one more time as if you have faith in your own powerful voice? Say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. You know what? Just give yourself a round of applause, because yes, you can have the drive within you to become what you really want to be in life. Yes, you can have the drive within you to get where you want to be in the next 6 months. The drive is just inside of you. It's so funny when how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, when they try to say my name, they always butcher my name. But really, Nompumelelo in my own language, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? Maybe let me say in the next 6 months. I know myself, I'm one of those. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a coach or as a mentor, like many of us here, my goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired actions to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. I so wish that you could just tell yourself that, you know what, it's high time I go out there and be the change, have the change maker's mindset. But in order for you to go out there and be the change and make a difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like a hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. Yes, it's lunch. And it's so funny though, because even with elephants, what they do when they see a lion is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. I believe we all need that lion mindset that will help us to have the change makers mindset, because I believe that we all rise together, and we rise by lifting each other up. We don't rise by tearing anyone down or maybe stepping over another person to get to the top, but we rise by lifting each other up. You know, it's so funny. I'm going to cut the story short here. It's so funny. When I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I arose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me, and it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. So I want to encourage you, if you are watching and listening under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down. Write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future. But here's one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that with God, we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to all these amazing messages, it stirred something within me. And that was when I decided to follow my dreams, which gave me a purpose to see my goals through and understand that I do have everything around me to reach to my full potential. This year, I'm also determined to rise to greater heights with as many motivated individuals who are maybe ready to start and grow or maybe scale their businesses within 90 days. Yes, it's possible. You can get started and scale that business. Or maybe you are that individual who started writing your book and then you were like, you know what, I don't have time for this. You decided to put that book aside. And I'm here to encourage you that yes, you can still write and publish that #1 bestseller book. And that book is going to continue selling. It's not meant to be kept on Amazon shelves. So I offer a free, no obligation 30-minute friendly Zoom consultation call, which will kind of allow me to find out more about the issues that you're experiencing, and also to see if you are a perfect fit for any of my programs that I offer. So if you're interested in becoming a public speaker, an author, coach, or maybe that entrepreneur just want to multiply your income by doing what you truly love, what you're passionate about, and making a real impact out there, I just want to empower you to become a highly effective and an inspiring leader with a kind of personalized, measurable, but a scalable program. So go on my website at www.risetogreaterheights.com and book that free consultation call with me, because my ultimate goal is that you feel extremely confident about your purpose. So we will take it one step at a time, and you are definitely going to transform. So if you give me your why, I will show you the how. How cool is that? So this consultation, it offers accountability, education, growth, as well as success. So go on my website at www.risetogreaterheights.com and book that free consultation call with me, because growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And I thank God that I missed that flight, because I'm still here. I'm still sharing my message. I'm still impacting as many lives as much as I can, because I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever say that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel N. Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speaker. So at this moment, please feel free to share with the audience your final thoughts on change makers mindset, as well as remember to share how our audience can reach out to you, your freebie. So Sabrina, the stage is yours.
Okay. What do you want me to talk about now?
Feel free to share your final thoughts and how our audience again can reach out to you. Any freebie that you want to offer, feel free to share.
I think it's a bit of a combination of what everyone has said. We often are our worst enemies. We stand in our own way and stop ourselves from being able to move forward. In a lot of cases, we're not even really aware why we're doing it. And often it comes back to that belief in myself. If my core belief is not good enough, I don't believe I have what it takes to take those next steps, but I also don't believe I'm worthy of doing it. So that core belief is something that's really important, that we need to make sure that we're really challenging and changing so that we can take those first steps, we can move forward, we can heal, we can grow and develop into the person that we want to be.
Thank you, Sabrina. I really believe also that our audience really will reach out to you, more especially on your book. I feel like your book is really worth the read. Not good enough. And it's often, it sounds as a negative way, but the moment you begin to explain, someone realize that, wow, I really thought here wasn't good enough. So thank you so much, Sabrina. I believe that our audience will reach out to you. You can go ahead, Dr. Verma, and share with the audience, please.
Okay. And before I start, thank you, Dr. Riel. That was absolutely amazing, what you describe and your journey and how you help people. So thank you. Well, my message again is what I heard when I had an aerial view. So I resonate what you're saying is sky is a point of view, because my soul left and had that aerial view of what was happening down here. So I really resonate with sky as a point of view. And I just want to tell the audience, if you need any help with your health, well-being, to experience greater joy, please get in touch with me, because I can show you how to create heaven on this beautiful earth of ours. It's about taking care of ourselves. It's about taking care of each other. It's taking care of our Mother Nature, because we all need to coexist in harmony. We all matter. And again, as you probably figured out my message, it's about the heart. So with the change maker, we have just, my request would be to balance the mindset with the heart set. Because living from the core is your heart. That is where cooperation comes. And it can build families. It can build communities. It can build the world of a peaceful, cooperative world. Because as Dr. Reel said, in unity, we rise. That's what it's about. It's about unity. Now, these are all heart-centered qualities. It's about unity. It's about cooperation. And imagine, just imagine a world with cooperation between communities, our nations. It would lead to a peaceful world. So let's create that heaven on this earth. That's my request to everyone.
Oh, wow. Wow, Dr. Verma, shift from that mindset to heart set. That's what you said. To heart set.
Let's lead from our heart and let our mind follow.
Wow, wow. I believe really our audience will definitely reach out to you. Yes, because it takes I was born and raised in Africa, where it takes the whole village to raise one child. So we all rise together in so doing. I believe that our audience will definitely reach out to you. I can see you have your email there as Dolly Rajesh at yahoo.com.
You could do that, or formally you can get in touch with me. This is my details again. Yes. There's a QR code, Healing, Health, Happiness, the logo. Just do a Google search in Australia. And as I mentioned, couple of freebies, actually triple freebies. One-on-one coaching session with me so we can discover how we can help each other. Ebook on self-care. I'm very big on self-care. And of course, a heart-centered meditation, which is where we connect with our true original nature of love, light, and peace.
Wow, wow. Yes, I believe our audience will definitely reach out to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know Chris, he has to hop off because he had other commitments, but excuse me, it's like I'm catching cold. Thank you so much to our amazing speakers, really. Sabrina and Dr. Verma, thank you so much. I know for you to spare this the 90 minutes to be with us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, we don't take it for granted. And I know you have other commitments. We are all busy. We are all busy beings, but for you to spare that those few hours with us, and for you, Dr. Verma, to wake up at 3 a.m. in Australia just to be here with us, really, we don't take it for granted. So we appreciate both of you amazing speakers. We just want to say thank you. We are so honored. We are so humbled. We appreciate your presence here at Rise to Greater Heights Network. So thank you to both of you. And to our amazing audience online, thank you so much for joining us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can always turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these amazing messages, from all these amazing speakers, you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Siya Bonga.
Let them laugh, let them weep, let them yell, let them sing. All they wanna say. Let them lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let them laugh, let them weep, let them yell, let them sing. All they wanna say. Let them lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No,
living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as I'm